Welcome back to the Monday Motivator. I'm Renee from Loneasy. Today I want to talk about growth because growth is the buzzword. We all want to grow, we all want to advance, we all want to improve ourselves, but growth isn't always a pretty thing. Growth can be a really challenging thing because to break habits and to change habits isn't easy. And whenever I think about growth, I think about trees because in order to get one tree to grow, on average you need to actually put 3 seeds into one hole and then one tree might grow out of it. And every single seed doesn't germinate. But with growth comes change. And when you think about a seed, in order for it to germinate, it actually has to break. It breaks and it goes through a period where it's growing underneath the soil, it's dark, no one sees it, and it's actually growing. But it's only when it pops through to the other side and that first little stem or leaf pops through where everybody recognizes it. So sometimes you can be going through growth and transformation in yourself. You're not going to get that pat on the back because other people aren't recognizing it yet. But you can give yourself a pat on the back because you are making progress and you know when you're making progress. So don't wait for the recognition from other people. Give it to yourself when you know that you're making the right moves that you need to be making. I also think about the fact that where you're planted is going to have a big impact on yourself. And you might be planted in a big corporate or a big team environment, so you already know that there's big trees around you, there's good soil and it's a good environment for a tree to grow. But when that new little tree pops through, you've got your roots challenging the other big roots for nutrition and for water. You know, there might be shade from the bigger trees that's stopping you from getting as much sunlight as you need. In the same token, you're planted in a beautiful environment where you know you can grow to be big and strong. If you're in a startup, it's different again because you're planted in a beautiful, nourishing soil, but you get to potentially be the biggest tree in the forest. So there's pros and cons in both environments, and it's important to recognize where you are and to capitalize on all of that. Growth isn't easy, but we are not trees, we are not seeds. I was just using that as a bit of an analogy to make sure that we can all recognize that to make changes in our life isn't easy, but it is worth it. It is worth it. And I remember really clearly when I was about 10 years old, my dad worked in big construction in South Africa, and there was this massive date palm on one of the sites, and he just couldn't get rid of it because it was so beautiful, it was magnificent. So he decided to dig it out, and there was this massive truck and crane that brought it to one of the new homes he'd built for us. It would have been at least 9 meters tall. And he uprooted that palm and he planted it in front of our house, and it absolutely flourished. And the truth is, you can move from the environment you're in if you really needed to, but there's a recipe to moving a tree successfully. You've got to move at least 20 to 30 centimeters of roots for every 2 centimeter diameter of a tree, and even then it mightn't survive. So make sure you're truly unhappy with the environment you're in before you make a change, and that you've tried everything you can to make a success out of it if you know that it's a really good, fruitful environment. The reality is that if you want to be in the 1%, you have to do what the other 99% are not willing to do. And it's not always going to be easy, but it is worth it, and it's the only way you're going to live your best life. So happy selling, and let's look forward to some growth.